I still remember my first lecture in prostho. The opening line of my professor was, "One tooth that goes missing can screw the entire oral cavity." And I couldn't agree more to this. You know what? Just one tooth that goes missing, and I guarantee that that patient is going to become a lifelong patient because there are going to be recurrent problems that are going to come. So what do? You rehabilitate then and there itself. You educate the patient then and there itself. It's your duty to make sure that the patient does not suffer more. Hello everyone, I am Dr. Riddhi Lalan, prosthodontist and author of Dental Material and Prosthomanma book and your mentor for both the subjects. And today we are going to be talking about something that seems to be very common, something that we survive on, but is of utmost importance when we talk about prostho. And that's nothing but the consequence of losing a tooth. That is how your patient starts getting multiple number of problems. Really. First thing, what is meant by tooth loss and how can it be? So tooth loss can be defined as two types. Either it's partial or it's complete. When I say pseudo-anodontia, anodontia means missing teeth. But when I say pseudo, it means fake. So how is it missing? It's not missing congenitally, but it's missing due to extraction. So this is one of the reasons. Then there's another term that's complete anodontia, which means that all the teeth are missing. Now it can be functional dentition loss, wherein less than 20 teeth are present in the mouth, severe tooth loss when there are only less than 8, or complete tooth loss, that is your completely edentulous patient. Reasons for tooth loss can be N. So what you do is you go department wise, starting from oral surgery. There can be trauma, you would have to extract it, or it was impacted someplace and you had to remove it. So about your oral surgery. Next department, endo and cons. So caries is one of the primary factor. Pulp was involved, it was grossly decayed, you had to remove the tooth. Then going to your ortho, you had to orthodontically correct the tooth and thus it required extraction. Perio, periodontally compromised and you had to do it. Public health, something related to fluorosis or something related to your systemic health. So all of these factors will ultimately lead to your loss of teeth, and the patient then comes to the last department, that's your prostho. And one of the reasons that I can think is also age related. And it's usually not age related, but your perio, endo, that's compromised, that leads to removal of tooth. Now, anatomically, what are we going to see? We're talking about the broader aspect here. First thing is that the alveolar ridge is going to lose its height and width. So what we are going to talk about here is residual ridge resorption. It's the first video in this entire series. And if you have not seen it yet, I would really advise that you need to binge watch the entire playlist. Next thing. So now once your jaw has started resorbing, there are going to be pseudo class 3 that will be seen. The centrifugal and the centripetal pattern. There's going to be dysfunction of jaw, TMJ related issues. So one tooth that's lost creates so much of dysfunction to your entire stomatognathic system. Then physiologically, what's going to happen? It's actually going to alter the mandibular motor functions. It's going to change the salivary flow. It's going to actually alter the proprioception. PDL fibers are reduced, right? They were sending through the delta fibers there. That's going to be reduced. There's going to be loss of periodontal mechanoreceptors. These receptors are now not transmitting the sensations to the brain. And ultimately, that's going to lead to inefficiency in your chewing, reduce masticatory load, and impact your nutritional status indeed. One simple tooth that goes missing is going to create so much of problem. Aesthetically, what's going to happen? Vertical dimension. Posterior is going to affect the vertical dimension. Anterior, it's going to affect the aesthetics and phonetics. So what's going to happen if the VD goes low? Decrease and altered VD. The face is going to look shrunken. It's going to look pseudo class 3. There are going to be wrinkles all around. There's going to be prominence of chin that can be seen. So everything related to decrease in vertical dimension is going to be observed in this case. Apart from that, functional problems are going to happen. Now we know that posteriors are very important when we talk about masticatory efficiency, when we talk about chewing. This is going to be diminished. Anterior is going to affect your speech. It's going to affect your aesthetics. It's going to affect the look. It's psychologically going to affect the patient indeed. They become so conscious. They become so antisocial when the tooth goes missing. At the same time, muscle tone is lost. You see, they look so aged. Young patient, 40-year-old will look like as if they are 55. It drastically changes your appearance and then indeed affects psychologically. Now, this was all that was seen on a broader aspect. But if I have to talk about your local aspect, what's going to happen? So what I want you to visualize here is, let's say that's the tooth. Here, there's your premolar, and here there's your molar. So what is missing is your first mandibular molar. That's missing. Now, one thing that's going to happen is, whenever there is space that is present, everything is going to come in that space. So let's start by the adjacent partners. Molar will try to come in its position. Premolar will also try to come in its position. So something that was straight now will start drifting. So this drift is actually going to lead to opening up of your contact points. There are going to be black triangles that are going to be present. Now, one thing that I know, that any space is going to house food. So that's going to lead to food lodgement. Problem again, right? Food lodgement. What's going to happen next? It's going to lead to caries. Caries is going to go to the pulp. Ultimately, it's going to affect everything. Talking about the upper part now, what's going to happen? They're going to come down. So this is going to supraerupt. Once that it supraerupts, what's going to happen? Passive eruption. So CJ is going to now be visible. The crown, clinical crown, is going to lengthen. And ultimately, if I want to align this, either I go for endo treatment, I go for prosthetically giving a crown onto it, or orthodontically intrude, cause inversion. So these all are going to just hamper and play with my entire system now. Now you understand why is it actually going to cause TMJ issues? Because the entire stomatognathic system is going to be dysfunctional. One tooth was enough to cause all the problems. Just imagine. Adjacent partner, upper partner, entire system disrupted. One tooth is going to cause havoc to your oral cavity. Talking about the need for partial denture. Now, what's going to happen? We are going to look at two perspectives. Why do we need to rehabilitate? Patient's point of view and the dentist's point of view. For patient's point of view, everything that we talked about, right? Remember one thing. If I make sure that these teeth don't drift, what am I doing? I'm saving future all treatments. Indeed, I'm saving patients time. I'm saving their money. At the same time, I'm actually not hampering the system. I'm making sure that it stays the way it is. So I am going to benefit them functionally, aesthetically, at the same time psychologically, financially, everything. So patient is going to be benefited all time. At the same time, it just is done in a lesser treatment. So it's not very invasive. It's easy to maintain. One crown is easy to maintain than to maintain 10 restorations, 2 caps, 1 RCT. No. And at the same time, it's actually going to provide an interim solution before you have your final. Even if you cannot give implant at that point of time, just make sure that the space is not lost. If the patient says, I cannot afford implant, I'll come back to you after a year, don't say it's okay, go. At least try to give a removable denture there. Yes, you need to just save the space. You are going to survive by this mantra that says, save the space. Please do good to what exactly is remaining, then to just think about, I want to place implant. I'm not going to do RPD. Do it for now. Save the space for your implant as well. Correct? If your tooth is going to supraerupt, you don't get your crown height. If your teeth are going to drift, you don't get the width. You need it, right? You don't want the bone to resorb there. You have to functionally load it. Give RPD at least. You're going to thank me later. When you're going to recall, I know Riddhi ma'am said something like this. I want you to be thankful to me, to say thanks for teaching that you need to save the space. You need to save the space. So from dentist point of view, what you're going to do is, you're going to see the functionality. You're going to see restoring of aesthetics. You're going to actually provide all the treatment options. One tooth is missing, provide everything. It's your duty to let the patient know of all possible treatment of choices. Give them fix, implant, removable, everything. So many dentists these days don't advocate for removable dentures, but at times the patient will be so poor they cannot afford those treatments. Does that mean that they don't have a right to be treated? No, right? So you do give them. Now, what are you actually doing? You're saving all the other teeth. You're saving their periodontal ligament. You're saving the pulp there. All of these is actually going to enhance. The mechanoreceptors are preserved. The proprioception is preserved. The patient is going to be thankful to you when they are going to be able to chew properly, when they are going to be able to talk properly. So you restore aesthetics, phonetics, mastication. At the same time, you can actually provide your removables as your interim treatment plan. You can use your patient education tool. You can show them how it is important to rehabilitate. You can provide lesser technique sensitive options. If they don't want to go for an invasive procedure, tell them about the non-invasive procedures. You can actually design a good treatment plan that actually makes sure that they have good retention, enhanced stability, and you are preserving the bone. You're doing good. You're going to sleep well that day because you did good to the patient. They are going to benefit. That stomatognathic system is going to be preserved for a longer duration of time. You're going to be proud of yourself. So this is all about what happens when the tooth goes missing, what as dentist you need to take into consideration, and what you need to explain to your patients. So loss of posterior teeth commonly leads to increase in vertical dimension. No, it leads to decrease. Supraeruption of opposing tooth. Yes. Increased tooth strength. No, it's actually going to decrease. Posterior is all about increasing the strength. So that's going to decrease. Reduce occlusal forces. No, it actually has nothing to do with your occlusal forces. It's the supraeruption of teeth. Let's quickly solve the flashcard. It says, how does tooth loss affect the speech? There are multiple sounds. There's something known as palato-lingual sound. There are sibilants. All of these are actually because of your anterior teeth. How they are placed. F, V, S. Can you recall? If not, go back to the lecture wherein I explain phonetics in detail and you will know this answer by heart. So if you want to have this copy in your hand, you can order it from Amazon, Flipkart, Dental Cart, and also from the Medi Study Go website. Go visit the website today, explore all the features that are available, and don't forget to like, share, and subscribe. And I'll see you in the next video.